Hi, I'm Cranando Diremore.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another MMORPG interview. And of course, I'm Amorist, and this is Cranando, and we're in Final Fantasy XIV, in this lovely hellscape. I don't know if we'll call it that exactly, but we'll get there. So, Cran, so how did you get your character? And, well, let's start with your account name. Like, how did you get your account name?
There's a streamer called Vinesauce. He had this story of him playing Melee with his friends. And his friend saw Ganondorf and went, "Is that Cranando?" So I used to play a Ganondorf-looking Rogadin, so that's kind of how I came up with Cranando Diremore instead of Dragmire.
Oh. Okay, so let's break that down a little bit. So Ganondorf, of course, is a character from The Legend of Zelda, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so tell me a little bit about your look. So let me get into first person here. So tell me a little bit about your outfit and how you put it together, and like why you chose the way that you put it together. Like, why did you choose this outfit for the interview that you did today? Why the Viera, which is the rabbit, and etc.
Well, I was a Rogadin all throughout Heavensward.
Mm-hmm.
And then I changed into Viera.
Sure.
And I just really liked how it came out. I've tried a couple other forms like Aura Male, but I did not like the way that they moved.
Mm-hmm.
I just ended up as a Viera.
Is it just purely the aesthetics? Like the way that it looks and feels? Oh.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
Really?
So that's all right. I'll do that here. So, so my next question is kind of like a where do you come from question. Like, what's your playing experience? What other MMOs have you played and do you play? Like where did you start playing MMOs? How did you get into them?
I originally started with RuneScape. My grandpa's computer was not very good, so every single day I would go to the public library to play. I was not the only one that played RuneScape at the public library, and I did that throughout junior high until I lost my account, and then I quit until World of Warcraft. I started late Burning Crusade, and I've played it all throughout up until the first patch of Shadowbringer, or Shadowlands, where I got extremely burnt out, and I did the great when everyone left WoW to Final Fantasy XIV because of like Asmongold was playing it and all of the controversy with the breast milk and all the bad people.
Okay. So really you were part of like more or less kind of a great migration out of World of Warcraft because of Blizzard's ethical issues.
I just got so burnt out of Korthia. It was the worst bit of WoW I've ever experienced.
Plus you were just having a bad experience with the gameplay. as well. You were just burning out. Okay. So how
I'd
would you?
actually played a little bit of Final Fantasy XIV before that, but I had not beaten. I was like level 40 when I came back.
Well, how would you say Final Fantasy XIV online compares to your World of Warcraft experience?
I like the combat and like raid design of WoW more. For Final Fantasy XIV, it's more like at 17 seconds in, this ability goes off, and it always goes off at 17 seconds in. So I don't like the rigidity of boss design, but I like the story and the environments, and especially this dungeon.
What about the communities? Like, for example, what kind of a community did you have in World of Warcraft, and did they come with you into Final Fantasy XIV?
No, I'm the only one that really migrated. I didn't really have a toxic environment. I had a guild, basically, from when I started. And if I go back and play Dragonflight, they're still there. It's the same people. They let me into the raids that they do. So I haven't had too much bad experience in WoW. Aside from it being a PvP server before they got rid of that and made war mode a thing.
Oh, so what is war mode? I mean, like, just to explain the difference between PvP servers and war modes, people who are listening.
When I started, any opposing Horde member could attack you in the open world, no matter what, no matter where. And that was like for most of the game's life until Battle for Azeroth, where they added war mode, where it was opt-in instead, and it made the overworld experience a million times better.
Right. So, I think we've already answered like how long basically you've been playing Final Fantasy XIV, but I'm curious about how often do you play Final Fantasy XIV now that you come and joined?
Most work days, maybe like an hour to do some PvP and what is it? Roulette? Yeah, duty roulettes.
And that's basically it randomly chooses an activity for you?
Yeah, just to level up some of my other jobs. And then, like, on the weekends, I'll be in the game. I might go AFK for a bit, but I'll just leave it on since it doesn't kick you off anymore.
Cool. Do you spend most of your time by yourself playing, or do you seek out other people to do stuff with in the game?
It's mostly a solo experience for me, unless I'm trying to farm for a mount. I can't really think of any very multiplayer things other than grouping up to get the duty roulettes done.
Okay. So, how would you say you learned to play the way that you currently play Final Fantasy XIV? Like, for example, what kind of resources did you consult? Did you learn from other people, or did you get most of your information from like online resources?
I play most dungeons and stuff blind. For extremes and other things, I look up guides. Going into Boja blind, I would not have fun, I think. So I followed guides for that in Eureka.
And let's give a little bit of an explanation of what Boja and Eureka are for people who are listening. So,
it's overworld group content where actively things spawn, and you as a community go and fight the things. And
yeah, Boja are large-scale group participation is required in coordination. So you would be like lost and confused if you didn't know what was going on. So I could see how looking up and understanding what was going on would be required. And of course, extremes is a reference to like it's extremely difficult dungeon content.
Yeah, every trial boss has an extreme version, and each expansion will have a different mount theme. I have all of the horses from ARR, all the birds from Heavensward, all of the wolves from Stormblood, and now I only need 2 dragons from Shadowbringers. And I've only gotten 1 lynx from Endwalker.
Oh, wow. So, how would you say that you use your time playing MMOs differently than you do, like, other entertainment content, like watching TV or movies or, like, reading?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Oh, how would you say you like use MMOs like to entertain yourself differently than you would watching TV or watching a movie or reading?
I don't know. There's something about farming that's quite relaxing. You put on some music or a video on your second monitor, and you just farm critical engagements in Boja, or you have a farming list and you're making some glamour while listening or watching to, like, say, Thor, Pirate Gaming, or some other streamer.
So
reading.
Are you saying that it's like something interactive to do while there's something else something else for you to consume, like a movie or listening to someone else speak? For example, you were mentioning listening to a streamer,
or just sitting in Discord and talking to people.
Okay.
You don't even have to be doing the same content. It's just something to do that's relaxing, doesn't take too much brain power.
So, tell me a little bit about the community in Final Fantasy XIV. Like, for example, what would you say the temperature of the community in the game is? So, like, how do other people behave?
Well, I only have 2 people in my blacklist. They were from the same dungeon and friends, so I haven't really had any, like, very rarely will I get really irritated at someone for being a jerk. I know a lot of people felt that way about WoW, but I've never experienced much of it, so I just haven't had too many interactions with angry people.
Well, it's good to hear. So, do you have a guild or community in Final Fantasy XIV?
Yes, I am in Desu, one of the largest guilds or free companies in Midgardsormr server.
Do you talk to them or anyone else outside of the context of Final Fantasy XIV about things that are not related to it?
They have a Discord, but we mostly keep it Final Fantasy related. They might talk about like today's Cinco de Mayo, someone really wanted a burrito and a margarita.
It's true that we're recording this right now in May, on May 5th. So whenever this ends up getting published. So let's for a moment take in like the location that you chose, and so let's talk about a little bit about like why you chose Final Fantasy XIV for this interview. Like, why did you choose Final Fantasy XIV for this interview?
Well, I really enjoyed the story. I think it's pretty much the best gaming story I've ever experienced. And Emmett Selk is my favorite character, and this is one of his best moments, this dungeon.
And let's pause for a moment to take a really good look at this place. I'm gonna zoom way out and like move around just a little bit, because and like the music here is just awesome, by the way. So I've zoomed out to get a pan of like this area, and I'm not gonna get too well. I'm gonna get close to the edge here, but I'm gonna try not to fall off because you can get killed. We are in a dungeon, by the way, in Final Fantasy XIV. This is normally a combat zone. There is a boss here that we'd be fighting if it wasn't set in a way that we don't have to fight one.
This is actually one of my favorite features, is spectator mode. You can go into most dungeons like this where there's no enemies and you can just look around.
Yeah, I did not know about this before this interview, actually. So this is a new thing for me too, and this is gorgeous, by the way. So I want to thank Cran for showing this off. So my last question, of course, what is your favorite memory from playing MMOs?
The one that always sticks out in my mind was my first ever hardcore raiding experience. Since I started in late Burning Crusade, I didn't start raiding until Wrath of the Lich King. We were in Ice Crown Citadel with 25 or 24 other people. We just were stuck on this one boss, the Vampire Queen. And we just struggled for a couple weeks, and I just was like, hey Ice, let's just do one more. I got a feeling. And we downed her for the first time, and just fighting a really hard boss, getting stuck on it, and eventually killing it. That's pretty much why I'm an MMO player all these years later.
Well, thank you so much, Cran. I really enjoyed that, and I hope everyone learns a little bit about MMO game playing. And of course, I've been Amorist, and this has been Final Fantasy XIV. Everyone else, thanks for coming. Good night and good dreams. I'm gonna pan out here. Give everyone a look.